So good morning, everybody. My name is Zach. This project is called the Mos Eisley Archives and Cantina Forum. For those of you who might not know, I'm a Star Wars fanatic, and in the last year have begun reading Star Wars novels and fell in love with the idea of modeling a project after Star Wars almost as soon as it popped into my brain. For anyone who doesn't know a lot about Star Wars or who needs a refresher, I'm just going to read off a quick snip from the README for like a good primer. Mos Eisley is a spaceport city on the outer rim planet of Tatooine, which is homeworld to the protagonist Luke Skywalker. Famous in the film A New Hope for the initial meeting place between Luke and Han Solo. The Mos Eisley Cantina was home to spacefarers and scoundrels alike. This application aims to mimic a sort of digital forum and database for patrons to share messages about the happenings around the cantina, but also offers realistic usability to the human user. By human, I mean like real people, not fictional, by allowing access to a database in order to store favorite Star Wars novels with various book details attached. This project was definitely an excuse for me to play more with Star Wars stuff, but it was also the perfect motivator for tackling the task of working with Flask and React simultaneously. The Mos Eisley Cantina and Forum is a full stack web application with a Flask routed backend alongside Postgres SQL database. The front end is React.js using TypeScript and is primarily styled using Material UI. So now I'll run through the site real quick. I'm going to log in with the username I've been using throughout most of this apps building process, Mr. Darth Maul. This is not Darth Maul. This is just a generic hello image, but here's the welcome screen. And then that unlocks a couple more pages on the dropdown. The archive is where you can go in and enter books that you want to save on your profile. So Darth Maul's been reading about all of the best baddies in the Star Wars expanded universe. This is connected to my database, so you can add entries through the form right here. And if you go back, you can also click on one and view the selection, and it gives you the description of the book with information and a generic image right here. You can also search by title if you want to narrow it down if you have a lot of books to choose from. And again, you can click on one and delete, and it will delete it from the database in the UI. Moving on to the forum page. So this shows posts from all users, not just the one that's logged in, but you do have to be logged in to contribute to the forum. The posts that are shown right here are the two newest posts that have been posted. These do drop down so that you can view like the body of the details of the post, but there's a title, author, and a subtitle with a timestamp here. The last part of the site is called Watto's Table. So if you don't know who Watto is, he's this junk dealer with a gambling problem, and he uses these colored dice to make decisions. So this is my third-party API exposure. If you roll Watto's dice, you get a little state action right here, and then you see the result. And oh, actually, now I'm getting a bug. Hang on. Let me log back in. I think I know what's going on. So Watto's table, roll the dice. There we go. So this retrieves a random Star Wars character from the Star Wars API that is available out there for free. If you go back and roll again, it gives you another character. It's just like a little fun side game to see if you can come up with Star Wars characters that you recognize. I'm sure everybody recognizes this one. That's the site. Working with both frameworks simultaneously was definitely the biggest challenge, and it really opened my eyes as a developer. This project will be deployed on Heroku eventually, but again, since it's React and Flask, I still have to kind of dig into how to do that properly without toying with my file structure too much. Things I'm looking forward to expanding upon in the future, an even more rich user experience on the forum, more secure authentication. Right now, the JavaScript web tokens do not refresh, but it obviously still works. More profile customization, like some book images and some profile avatars. And then ultimately, I want to include a JavaScript version of the game Sabacc, which is a real card game from the Star Wars universe. There you go, Adam. Adam knows what I'm talking about. So one thing I did take away from building this is I'm very interested in building more outside of the box projects. This app is only made in part for practical use and is otherwise intended for entertainment. But I could take it in a direction to utilize as a tool to teach others more about Star Wars, maybe integrate it as sort of an educational thing for kids to get them introduced to Star Wars, and also like have some brain teaser games. But regardless, I'm really happy with the blend of different purposes that are behind it. So overall, it was a really great challenge to work with Flask and React together. Had a lot of fun putting it together, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Anybody have questions or anything?
With you.
That's right.
This is awesome, man. Sure, I speak for everybody, but great job. Love the design, love pretty much every aspect of this. Feel like you really captured the Star Wars essence here. Did have a question. So you talked about like the JavaScript web tokens. Is your login here for the front end? Do you have your own database for the front end, or is like everything from the login and the book display, is all of that connected to your back end?
Yeah, good question. So my database in Postgres houses the user information, the book information, and the blog information. So all of that is being queried through the forms on the front end, and then it's connecting to my routes in my Python Flask backend to actually retrieve it from the database.
Awesome, very cool.
I do actually also want to credit my awesome girlfriend for designing this little blue milk on books logo. That was all her, so have to shout her out for that too.
Where do you get the Star Wars font? Is that like a Google font or?
So if you Google Star Jedi font, there's some person named Boba Fonts who created it. And it's, I don't know if anyone's familiar with a WOFF file, but that's like, you have to save it and input it into like your general CS folder for the whole project so that it reads that type of font file and can like create like a local font family for the directory. But yeah, Google Star Jedi font and you'll find it. You do have to use all lowercase though, because the uppercase has some wires crossed, and so you'll get like an N instead of an H and stuff like that, but I got it to work out. So any other questions?